Great. Nice. Hello, friendos. Can you guys hear me right now? If you are in the chat, or, any of the coaches that are here, can you guys hear me? Just checking, because we've had some technical difficulties. I don't know, the stream key wasn't working for a second, so I'm just checking to see if you guys can hear. Okay, awesome. So let me put on some music, and then I will send out the links to the fan server and the Twitter, and then we will officially begin. Let me just, okay, well, first I've got to find where I put the music. Somewhere. Aha. Well, let me know if this is too loud, or if it's, yeah, let me know if it's too loud. Send out some links.
No, I'm pretty sure that was my keyboard. Sorry about that, pesky cutie.
Grass.
Carnivorous.
Alright, I'm just gotta put it on the Twitter, and then we'll officially be ready to go, guys.
Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Don't just subscribe to PewDiePie.
Fine.
Like I said, is the music good? Not too loud, not too soft?
Music sounds pretty good.
Awesome.
Ooh. Hello? Echo.
I don't hear an echo anymore, which is good. I heard one first.
I don't even know if I can be heard. Oh, there. Oh, it's a lag. Oh.
That's probably what it is, yeah. Alright. Just tweet it out real quick. And then
So weird saying something and then they react like a minute later.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys just joined, then we will be starting here in just a second. We're just tweeting out and sending out all the links to this, and then we will be good to start going over the minors drafts for this season.
Hit or miss.
Unfortunately, you'll be joined by Carney, by Adam. But fortunately, you'll be joined by Carney. So, there's positive and negatives for this stream. So,
whoever RY84 is, know you.
And then I do want to say thank you guys for stopping on by. Today's stream is going to be sponsored by Diet Mountain Dew. The taste of the dew. Do what you love with just a couple drinks of Diet Mountain Dew. So, you guys ready to go?
It's a lie. You just lied to the people.
Let me just send out this link.
Who are you, RY84?
And tweet it out. All right, guys. So, welcome to the NPL Minors Season 6 draft stream. I hope you guys are as excited as me and my good pal Carney and my good pal Adam to be here today. We streamed the Majors draft stream yesterday, and that went over pretty decently, but today we're streaming the minors, and then shortly after that, then we'll announce, at the end, we'll announce the schedules, as well. Here at the beginning, we'll also announce all the new coaches, since we haven't officially put that out anywhere other than the fan server. So, yep, we'll get that taken care of, and then we will start the draft stream. All right, so first, to start off, let's just go down some of the coaches we have. So
this is a live draft.
This is not a live draft. And I know we always try to bluff it as a live draft just as a joke, but we will actually today be doing more of a draft analysis stream. So we'll be looking at all 16 teams as a whole, one at a time. So instead of going through each and every pick, we'll be looking at each and every team as a whole. So that way, not only is it easier graphics-wise on us and easier on time-wise, it's easier time-wise for you guys. Just to point out something, it was, I believe, our last 3 draft streams before the draft stream yesterday were about 5 hours. The majors draft stream yesterday was about an hour and a half. So it'll be a much shorter draft stream than you're probably ever used to from here or any other draft stream. So just to start off, our 16 coaches that we will be having this season to start off that we had at the draft are our good pal Mega Oshawott, King Clyde, Muse the Best, Bash, D-Train, Dr. Slacking, Excellent Name, Pesky Skitty, Baby Eric, Ultra Player, Scrappy 10, Chew, Frawls, Diet Tight, Ice Demon Gray, and BM, aka Baton Mash. So those are going to be our 16 coaches we have to start off this season of Minors. So hope you guys are looking forward to that roster. I'm very excited about the roster we have going into the season. It's all new from last season. We don't have a single returning coach from last season. So that'll be certainly interesting. We do have Andrew, who has been in the NPL before, which he was Muse the Best. But we have not had anybody besides Andrew. Every other coach, all 15 other coaches are brand new to the NPL. So that is pretty cool. So I've talked enough. Let's go ahead and kick it off with our very first team. So we had 125 points this season for our draft budget, and for the first pick of the draft, we had our good pal Mega Oshawott getting that first pick, and he decided to go with a team of Tapu Lele, Heatran, Halucha, Thundy T, Mega Beedrill, Mandibuzz, Delmise, Alakazam, Regular Audino, Lantern, and Marowak. And he decided to Z up Lele and Lantern. So I decided, let's decide. I'll go ahead and lead off with Carney. What do you think of this team that Osh has drafted?
Well, as a lover of grass types, as some could say, Leavanny being the only grass drafted.
No, he has Delmise.
Pretty dankalacious.
Delmise.
Excuse me. Let's ghost then grass. Not grass. Actually, I think Leavanny's bug than grass, so whatever. But, excuse me. Thank you for...
Leavanny's on the slide.
Only Leavanny is the true grass type that we have here today. Obviously, it's a Tapu Lele team. Lele is going to help out a lot. A lot of people do not like to pair Lele with Lucha. Lele plus Lucha is almost as good as Coco plus Lucha, barring Lucha can't kill. I mean, Lucha will be outspeeding everything, and you don't have to worry about bullet punches, extreme speeds, which is really good with Lele plus Lucha, but I believe it does get the defense boost instead of the special defense boost that it gets from Coco. If you can fact check me on that, Mr. Donald Trump. But barring that, everything else seems pretty good. The speed tier is pretty fast, having things like Lucha and Mega B, and then his bulk with Audino and Mandibuzz is a bon magnifique core. He also does have the lovely Heatran that kind of synergizes the whole team together, as Heatran will be probably his centerpiece of his draft. What do you think about that, Adam?
It's pretty good. I don't really like Tapu Lele as a Z-mon, because I think you're going to run Scarf for specs most of the time, and I think Thundurus is probably better. I like it overall. Marowak's kind of wild. You said a lot of positives. I'll just point out a couple negatives. The two Stealth Darkers are Heatran and Marowak. Marowak probably won't be brought a ton, and Heatran will have to carry rocks then. But other than that, it's got a pretty good team. He drafted decently well around Lele. I like the 2 psychic types, and even though it's low tier, his fat is still pretty cool. Ciao.
One thing I will say about the Lele being Z is I personally think that if you have a Lele on your team, now he does have Heatran, which Z Heatran is also potentially a really good Zmon. It's one of the best Zmons in just regular standard Smogon, but Z Lele absolutely destroys any psychic or bulky steel type that it goes up against. So you can use Z Nature's Madness to do 75% to any counter that it has, and then all of a sudden that counter or check is no longer existent. And then the pairing with Heatran, because Heatran absolutely destroys bulky steals, Beedrill destroys bulky psychics. Like I definitely like the team. I definitely like the Volturn as well. And just to point out that yes, Leavanny is not on the graphic. It's listed there, but it is not listed as a sprite. But still shout outs to Andrew, because he did put in a lot of work for this stream. So even though he messed up on just one sprite, that's okay. Everything else has been excellent so far, and I think everything will be fine moving forward. So let's go ahead and move on to our number 2 pick, which was Ice Demon Gray and his Barcelona Bagons, and he has picked up a team of Tapu Koko, Greninja, Jirachi, Salamence, Shaman, Gengar, Heracross, Licky Licky, Piloswine, and Mega Blastoise, with the 2 Zmons being Salamence and Licky Licky. So Adam, this time I'll let you start off. What do you think about our good pal Ice's team?
Ooh. I like this team a lot, actually. I would use team. Again, kind of low on Stealth Rockers, but it's a really good, expensive team. I like Coco and Greninja as offensive, and then he just got a round 3 Jirachi, I guess, right? Salamence is kind of poo-poo, as Trev, you know that. Shaman is always a great mon. I think that Blastoise with Wish support is really good. I would wish this team had maybe a better spiker than Greninja, because it's got a bunch of offensive and it has the ability to I don't know, a bit more Stealth Rocks would have made this team good because of super offensive, but yeah, I like it a lot. So yeah.
What about you, Carney? What do you think about this team?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, okay? He has the one grass type, that quote-unquote grass type that's not a grass type.
What?
Being Shaman, yeah, Shaman.
I have a Shaman.
Like Celebi would be a whole lot better on this team.
Lying face.
I hate. Okay, that's the only grass type that is not allowed.
Why do you hate it?
Grass type pool. You know what? We'll talk about that later. But honestly, I'm a person who uses Salamence a lot, and Z Salamence is actually pretty good. I don't know if you guys know, but Salamence, the main reason why you draft it is to use its Z move pool, which it has great support Z moves, and it has really good offensive. Like Z Outrage destroys a lot of mons, and it's really good. Its other Z move, Mon, being the Licky Licky. Licky Licky's move pool is up and down the street one of the best move pools. If it had a better stat, I would love
it 80?
Licky Licky.
It's 80, right?
I believe it's 80, yeah, but it gets grass coverage, it gets water coverage, because it was a normal type, it gets everything up the wazoo. I think it even gets fairy coverage. You can quote me on that, but let's be honest here. I do agree with your statement on the hazards. Hazard control, at least hazards for this team is going to be kind of hard. Your main rocker is most likely going to be Piloswine or Jirachi, depending on the matchup. And then Ninja doesn't really like running specs, but spikes, not specs. But overall, it's still a pretty good team, I would say overall. Things I don't like about it is your Mega being Mega Blast. I would honestly.
Uh-oh, we're having some connection issues.
Say that again?
Are you good now, Carney? You were kind of cutting out.
Yeah. I'm here. Hi guys, I'm still here. I love you all.
Oh, also, now we actually do have the coach of the Barcelona Bagons himself, Ice Demon Gray. So,
Ice, is he here?
Yep, he is here.
Oh,
Ice,
hello.
what do you have to say about your team that you have drafted this season?
Sauce.
It's sauce with no good stealth rockers.
It's who needs stealth rockers when you have Salamence and Tapu Koko? No, I mean like, I think it's overall well-rounded, okay enough. Like it has some good walls, it has some good offensive stuff.
Ooh.
It has like double wish for Mega Blastoise, which I found very nice.
Yes, I like that a lot too.
Yeah, and some nice offensive threat. I'm not truly that happy about my physical wall breaking capacity. I feel like
Heracross, bro.
I mean,
like okay, but
I mean, that's actually one of the things that I think you excel at. Actually,
I like Heracross.
Salamence plus like Toxicorp, Flame Orb.
Toxapex.
Yeah, I know. Flame Orb, Heracross, and then Jirachi, along with Piloswine and Licky's physical move pool is pretty good. And then yeah, like I think you do well at breaking physically. But when it comes, like I said, I don't know why. I just personally don't believe that Mega Blastoise was the Mega for you. I would have picked up another Pokewater and then picked up maybe something that is more inclined to break physically offensively. Like I'm a big fan of Mega. People aren't.
You cut out.
Sorry, guys, we're having some technical
different-
difficulties
maybe
with Carney right now. We'll try and get that sorted out.
Um,
Are you good now, Carney?
I don't know what's going on, guys, but yeah. Basically, like I said, I don't think Mega Blastoise is a pick for you, but you obviously picked it. It fits the team for the special breaking and the rapid spinning that you need, but that's it. So.
I'll comment on the Blastoise why I did that. After I took Coco and Greninja, I was like, I want Jirachi. I want to go cool. And after those 4 picks, there weren't all too many Megas left that truly. And my points were also getting lowered by the minute. So
Yeah, when you
I knew it has a removal for like my Salamence stuff. I hadn't really got that much, so I after my Shaman pick, I kind of planned ahead. So like the last 5 months or what I planned after Shaman. Luckily, didn't get sniped. And I feel like with Double Wish, Mega Blastoise can fit better than in most teams because usually Blastoise, of course, it's struggling with getting its health back, but I feel like in this team, it could really be a bulky water to some extent.
I'm sorry, you have Triple Wish. Salamence Wish, I believe.
What gets Wish?
I believe
Salamence, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, Salamence does get Wish, so you have Triple Wish. But, I mean, that's just me, personally, okay?
I definitely like the team overall. It's I'm not a big fan of Salamence, but I can still see its use at a 15-point Mon. And I'm always a big fan of Coco and Gren. Jirachi's always annoying. Shaman's tough to beat, especially if the mon you're trying to beat it with is a Zygarde. Gengar is a low-key threat in a lot of matchups. Piloswine is probably one of the most reliable rockers, especially as a low tier, probably the most reliable low tier rocker there is. So what say you did that, Ice, and then we'll move on after this last one.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me say a little thing about my team.
Thank
No problem.
you for coming in.
You 3 have fun with touching each other's weenies.
Ooh, for you.
All right. Well,
We'll try to
with
continue.
that,
Yep.
let's introduce the next team then. From Columbus, the Basculins themselves, coached.
Andrew had a little bit of artistic creativity with this. He decided, since he was doing the graphics, he might as well, make everything on his team shiny, give Pineco and Coughing mustaches, the whole 9 yards. But I think I'll start off with this one since you guys have started off on the first 2. I'm just going to say that you look at his first 5 Pokemon and you're like, wow, Lando I, obviously a round 1 pick. Infernape is usually round 2 or round 3. Thundy can be as high as round 2 or round 3. Scolipede sometimes goes round 1, but probably in a format where Speed Pass is banned round 2 or round 3 at most. And then Latias can go as high as round 2. So Andrew definitely loaded up on threats early on. but as you can tell, he kind of was running out of points towards the end. He loaded a lot of his points in his first 6 picks. As you can see, like on the left side, nothing is below 14 points. But I still think overall he has a team of threats. Tangela is a pretty low-key, really good defensive mon. Basically one of the best iGuard checks you can get, because Zygarde has no chance of breaking past it unless it's weakened already or you let it get up a lot of DDs. Pineco is a Pineco, and Coughing can actually be a pretty good like stop to stuff like Buzzwole and Heracross if you absolutely need one. So don't underestimate Coughing either. And then Comfy is, it's got that priority training kiss, pretty annoying. So overall, I like this team a lot. So what about you guys? What do you say about Andrew's team?
It's good. I don't like Coughing. I'm sorry, I don't like Pineco, but he loves it.
I don't.
Why did Andrew? Wait, are all of his sprites are shiny?
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. Like I said,
Dude, some of these are ugly ass shinies, bro. But anyway, it's very offensive, and it's fun. I like T-Turn Sound.
I mean, personally, as a person who, I don't want to call me a low god or master, but as a person who uses a lot of low tier Pokemon, he does pick 3 of the best, I would say. Low tier Pokemon, as in Tangela as being one of the best low tier grass types you can get for basically Zygote switch-ins. And then Pycono is one of the best setters for like hazard setters for low tier Pokemon. And Coughing, I don't want to say it's the best, but it is one of the better low tier poisons out there. With the levitate ability, but making that thing a Z-mon, I really want to see Z-Spite Coughing. That needs to be a thing. Z-Spite Coughing, make it happen, okay, Andy? Thank you. Yeah, make it happen, man. And then along with his team being just really offensive, the Sand Rush looks very good. Comfy is a weird niche Pokemon, I think.
Just God, no bias.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
is that about it?
Yeah. I guess I will introduce the next team or next 4. Okay,
Yep,
so all the way from Baltimore, it's the Brave Birds, coached by Chu, and he has the lovely Landers T, the Mega Kangaskong, the superior one with the Milotic on the side, Niliego, the Bronzong, the lovely Lowland Persian, Rotom, the regular form, not in any other thing, Big Boy Embor, the only snowflake that smiles back, Caragonal. You also have Noivern and the tough one, the Wigglytuff.
I'm just going to start off by saying that hearing Carney not only pronounce Pokemon's names, but try to spell them, and then also adding titles to them is one of the most entertaining things. Like, you guys have not lived until you've seen Carney try to spell and pronounce Pokemon.
Yes. Overall, though, I love Double Serpent. Double Serpent is by far my favorite core. Superior plus Milotic, love it to death. Talking about this team. Also, basically the speed tier to me is super nice. Having things like a Persian, Noivern, and Superior being one of your really good fast mons. I love the team overall for that. A little spotty when it comes to like bulk, but then you do have things like Mega King, Milotic, and you do have Cryogonal if you want to break. You want to be like specially defensive with an ice type. Overall, I do want to see Wigglytuff being I want to see that being Keel later. Please make it happen. Also, being Z Lando and Z Tom instead of having Z on the lovely Persian is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I understand because of the point situation that you were not able to have it happen. Because if you don't know, we only had 25 points for Z Mons. So, But, hey, having Z Tom happen, I'm all thumbs up for that. What about you, my love? About the team.
What do you think, Adam? Just give a short.
I mean, okay, I like it. It has some of my mons I draft. I think Northern's kind of cool. It's fast. Wiggly. I think he made use. Okay, he made good use of points and 12 mons. Carney is right. I think the double snakes are pretty good. I think. Okay. Mega King, he drafted alright around it. Because Lando is physical, but we care about Rocky Helmet. I just wish he. I don't know. I don't like Landorus. That's my biggest thing. So I wish he got a better first round pick, and then he could have made the Persian Z or something. I think that could have been pretty cool. But that's just me.
Yeah,
that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, it was tough because running Z on Lando is kind of like you draft Lando as a first round 18-point mon 2BZ, and without Z moves, it's probably only worth about 15 points at most, 15 to 16, and it's probably not worth a round 1 pick. So it's kind of tough not to put Z on Lando after picking it 4th overall. But Z Persian is also really good down there. And that's part of the reason why Persian is 8, because you only do get 25 Z points. And, you don't want the possibility of something like Lando T plus Persian, Alolan Persian on the same team. So that's about all I have to say for this team. Overall, I like Bronzong as a rocker. I'm not a big fan of Mega Kang, but round 2, Mega Kang is okay. And I love Milotic. Always pick that mon. But moving on to pick 5.
Mega Kang is a great pick.
5, and we're going to go to Littenpool, coached by Baton Mash himself, and we're going to have the lovely Mew, Toxapex, Tangrowth, Keldeo, oh no, Drug Trio. And then you also have Mega Aerodactyl, the only slur one here, the Slurpuff, Blaziken without speed boost, Zoroark, the hidden one, and not Mega, but it's going to be Metagross, the smartest computer in the world.
Mega Metagross.
From Littenpool.
So I think I'll start off with this. I would say that I'm a big fan of Toxapex. I know my co-host here, Adam, hates Toxapex with a burning passion. I'm a big fan of it personally. Mew can do basically anything if it puts its mind to it, and he did draft it around it pretty well. He does have not the greatest hazard removal in the world, but Arrow can every once in a while run defog. Blaziken
he's not weak to hazards that much. But.
Yeah, he's not super weak to hazards. I wish I would have seen maybe a good spinner, a good defogger other than Arrow or Blaziken, because again, they really don't want to. They can if they have to. You can run, maybe defog as a 4th move on Blaziken on a Scarf set if you absolutely need to. Arrow can be pretty bulky if you invest in it because it's just so fast. But overall, I would say that he has a good rockers, which is nice. So Mew doesn't have to be a rocker. I wish I would have seen something maybe in the speed tier of between Mega Arrow and Keldeo, because Mega Arrow is nice and fast at 150 base 150.
Well, technically Dugtrio.
Oh yeah, Dugtrio. Sorry, I totally forgot about Dugtrio. But the problem is Dugtrio is a very matchup reliant Pokemon. You always have to prep for it, but at the same time, Dugtrio I feel only comes to about half the games at most. So something I don't know. Maybe an Azelf would have been nice, because Azelf could have also been that offensive psychic. I know that would have potentially been 3 psychics on one team, but they all would have done something else. Azelf could have been the psychic type rocker that's offensive, which would also free up Metagross. But overall, I do like his rocks options. With that, I totally blanked on Dugtrio. So his speed tiers are pretty good. Again, maybe something a little bit more solid that can be brought to more matchups than Dugtrio. Not super high on it, but I think I like the team. But I think we're going to go ahead and move on, because I want to kind of keep a solid pace here. So
okay. I don't like his team. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
There's Adam's opinion. What about you, Carney? What about your team? What's your opinion?
I'm ready to team if you are. I think pretty cool team. Only thing I say Specs is not a round 2 pick, it is a round 16
7
pick or 12 pick.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't draft it, or if they do, you can pick it up really, really late. So if they don't, you can pick it up really, really late. So you can always pick up anything else. But if you are ready to introduce the next team, I am ready to.
Yep.
God, I hate
Let's
this
go.
team.
All right.
From New York. Oh wait, real quick, message from our sponsors, Mountain Dew. Dude, I love the Dew, man. And you know what?
I don't like Mountain Dew.
The New York Muse, because the New York Muse, coached by Bash himself, has drafted out Megaladios, Suicune, the Sylveon. You also have the Alolan form of Muck, the Mr. Don Fan himself with the Z Crystal, Big Boy Conkeldurr. You also have El Scizor, along with Jolteon, the fastest on. You also have, I'm going to pronounce this horribly, but it's going to be Bucephaloon. I think so. I think
That's
it's
the closest you've ever gotten, so, I mean, kudos for that.
Huzzah! Huzzah! Finishing off with, boy, my body is Reggie Rock, and then I'll sing you a very lullaby. Overall, I believe this team is really bulky. I like it a lot. Amok is a good Pokemon in general, and then you have your good priority with the Conkeldurr and the Scizor towards the end. I do like it a lot. What do you think about it, my good friend Adam Labeesnays?
Ooh, I like this team a lot. I will say, he got it late, so it's like a compromise, but I don't think Bucephalon is that great. But on the other hand, everything else is really good. It's a really fat team. I guess the biggest thing is, like, his offense can be kind of checked, like Pursuit and stuff. It's mainly, it's just more of a fat team. So it's nice that he has some wish passing and he has pursuit trapping for himself, and he's got a couple good hazard removers. On the flip side, though, he has one stealth rocker that is going to come to like 2 games. So that's not really. Two. So I saw the Dawn Fan. But okay, he has 2 stealth rockers. Dawn Fan, I guess, is a little bit better than Regirock, but I don't know. It's okay. It's kind of weak to Earthquake. If I'm going to throw that out, really weak to Earthquake, actually. But go for it, Trev.
I'll say that he does have the 2 rockers in Donphan and Regirock, but in my experience using Donphan doesn't. I personally don't like to use rocks on Donphan. I like it more of a spinner than a rocker. I do really love running, like, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and then coverage moves like Gunk Shot, Seed Bomb, and knockoff stuff like that. So I do think I would have liked a 3rd rocker on this team, like a Amon, something like a Bronzong. Now I know Bronzong I think went round 6 to another team, so he would have had to get it pretty early on. But something like a Bronzong I think would have fit this team like a glove, just because then his Psychic type, he would have a secondary Psychic type and a secondary Steel type, which is never. Those are never bad.
And above the ground.
Yeah, that too. Then he would also have another ground immunity, except for against
Look at this man's team.
So, but I still think it's a solid team overall, because he's still, even though he is decently weak to ground, he does have fat things like Suicune and Dauphin. Then he still has, Volbeat is actually something that will come a couple times probably, and Megalodi is, while not nearly as bulky as Megalodios, still bulky enough to take on most ground types, assuming they're not boosting themselves or they have strong coverage options. But that's about all I have to say for this team. Let us move on to the next.
All right, and now we're going to talk about the Owada guard jumps, coached by Pesky Skitty. They opted to pick up round 1. Garam Black, followed by the Tapu Bulu. And you also have your good friend Rotom, the Washing Machine, Mega Alakazam, Kabalion, Gliscor, along with Lazzle. I can't believe I did that. Last but not least, the last 4 are going to be the Sleeping Wonder, Snorlax, the Ominous One, Spirit Tomb. You have the 3 Musketeers, the Magneton, and last but not least, the one, the only, Ariados. Trev, if you want to talk about this team first, you can.
Well, I am myself a very big believer in the power of Mega Zam. I think it's definitely like 100% top 10. I think it's borderline top 5 Mega. I think it's goes pretty underrated by a lot of people. It's just it's pretty frail. Like you look at its stats and you say, oh, it's pretty frail, definitely on the physical side, even a little bit on the special side. But with its speed, just like with how Arrow is so fast, it has so much speed that there's some times where you need little to no speed at all, and you can run that all in bulk. And it's still so strong that sometimes you don't need to invest very much in that either. So you can literally have a Pokemon that still outspeeds like base 100s, and then I think it still outspeeds even stuff like unboosted Hawlucha, even with just a timid nature and no EVs and speed, and it still has the special attack to, I think, hit something like in the high 300s without investment, and then you can run that all in bulk, and all of a sudden that went from a pretty frail Mon to, man, this Mon's still pretty strong and still has a good amount of bulk. So that's kind of like my rant on Zam. I love Zam. I love that Mon. Other than that, Kieran Black is... I don't know how I feel about Kieran Black. I've had it quite a bit. It's a good Mon for sure, but I personally myself, after using Kieran Black a lot, would rather maybe get a later round regular Kieran, just because like the things that I would use Kieran Black for would be just what I would use a regular Kieran for, that it does better. Because usually the best sets I feel like are like the sub Roost sets, where I think regular Kieran does those better. Especially since he doesn't have a Z move. Granted, Z Kyurem is a little overrated. It was really hyped up when Z moves came out. I don't think it's nearly as good as some people think, but still, just the potential to have it there would be great. Bulu, again, big believer in Bulu. A lot of people are kind of down on it, but I myself think Bulu is fantastic, especially with stuff like Rotomosh, Cobalion. It's just a solid core. I like the offense and the defense on this team. I don't know. What do you think about this, Adam? What do you think about the team?
It's a really good team. I think he drafted very well. Like the Magneton traps a lot of the steel types Kyurem doesn't like to deal with. The Cobalion deals with a lot of the dark types that Alakazam doesn't want to deal with. I don't care for Bulu that much, but it's not like a big issue or anything. And he has a couple Mons that appreciate the terrain already, like Snorlax and stuff. But yeah, I think it's actually really, really good. I guess the one thing is maybe like another Stealth Rocker, but even then it's not that big of a deal. I think it's a solid team.
Yep, for sure. But I think we should probably move on to the next team, which is the West Virginia Miniors, coached by Ultra Player.
West Virginia!
Okay, there's that. Okay, Carney, I think I'll let you take it away with the announcing of the Pokemon, just because you do that so well.
Yes, well, like I said, we're going back to West Virginia for those Minior, coached by the Ultra Player. First things first. First things first, he picked up a Mega Lopunny, everyone's favorite waifu. Followed by that, picked up Hydreigon, Ferrothorn the Prickly One, Nidoking with one horn on the top. He picked up the Rotom with the oven, still the Rotom heat. He's not slow to the king, but he will mimic you anytime, anywhere. He also did pick up Pert, Lady Kiss herself. Followed by Lock and Rock Day, the one and only Hitmonchan, and last but not least, he will tell you the weather with his cast form.
So why don't you take it away, Carney, for the analysis, since it's been a couple teams since you've analyzed the team. Yeah. So what do you think about this team?
Well, I do want to say that I love most of these mons that are on this team. Cast form finally being brought to a league. I'm super happy. If you guys didn't know, Draft Frontier, when it was Battle Area, had a cast form glitch where cast form became a god if you ever drafted it. Luckily, that is fixed, and you don't have to worry about that. Unfortunately. I mean, it became no type, and it was just really good. It was bulky as fuck. Excuse me for my language. But overall, I believe...
lady.
I believe that this team is really bulky. I do like the core of the lovely Ferrothorn, Heat, and Pert. That Fire, Water, Grass core fits very, very well with the rest of his team. I really wish Slowking had more Regenerator buddies along with it, but maybe we'll see that down the line of someone having more regenerator. Overall, though, it has very good wall breakers with the Hydreigon and the King, and the sweepers being Mega Low and Mimikyu help out this team a lot. Only thing I don't like is the lack of special offense. You do have Hydreigon, Kiss, and Heat along with King, but overall though, like the only one that's going to really break is going to be Hydreigon and then Heat maybe. King is going to be more of your slow offensive check, and then Kiss is just going to, flinch things to death. So, overall, I do like the team. The speed tiers are kind of wacky, but hey, that's just a game. That's just the team. Adam, what do you think?
The speed's kind of ass, you're right. I think Castworm's going to be the MVP of this team, bro. Look at it, just staring everyone down. I think he has more, honestly, I think he has more special offense than he has physical. But, yeah, it's pretty good. I like his team a lot. I like Togekiss. Yeah, the sweepers are kind of slow for my liking. He has good priority, though, which is a nice, at least a little bit of a fix to the slow speed. But that, I guess we'll speed it along. So that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I will agree on the fact that his special mons are all, at least not very fast. Like the fastest true special breaker you have is Hydreigon. Other than that, it's Nidoking, Togekiss, Rotom. So I would like another fast special attacker on this team. However, the special attackers he does have, Hydreigon can easily be Scarf, so can Nidoking, so can Togekiss. Honestly, so can Rotom. Like they're all really good Scarf mons, and Togekiss is obviously, Scarf Air Slash is always really annoying. But I think in a way it's good that all of his special attackers, he doesn't necessarily need them to be fast, because Lop's main problem is breaking past super fat stuff. Lop is a really great cleaner, not a great breaker. However, he's got stuff like Hydreigon, Nidoking, and Togekiss that absolutely just destroy bulky offense and stally stuff. So I would just say that it's overall I like the team. I definitely like the team.
One kind of weakness. Sorry, I just saw it because I struggle. Well, I had this on my initial draft. Lopunny likes Rocky helmets, and he has nothing to get rid of Rocky helmets.
That is a fair point. It's not as reliant on a knockoff user as something like Mega Kang is, but there are still definitely a lot of people that run stuff like Rocky Helmet on I've seen a very common Lop check is Poison Point, Fizdef Poison Point, Rocky Helmet, Nidoqueen. So having a knockoff mon for something like that would be really annoying would be nice. So maybe there's always free agency. So. But let's go ahead and move on to our next person, which is Fralls and his Melbourne Metagross. Take it away, Carney, with the Pokemon.
Yes, of course. Once I can find them, because I have Will being up next, not
Well, Fralls. Okay, we will say something. So Fralls. This isn't a live draft. So Fralls drafted this team. However, after his week 1 game, which has already been played, but you guys haven't seen the results. Oh yeah, that's a spoiler, whatever. But so, okay, shut up, Adam. All right, so Falls did drop after week 1. He got a new teaching job. However, we decided to go through and show his as if he drafted it, because he did draft this team, so that is something. So will be taking over, but this is the team that Fralls drafted, so we decided to put Fralls here on the thing. But go ahead, Carney, take away the Pokemon.
Well then, I guess from Melbourne, the Metagrosses, coached by Fralls when he was here, he did opt to pick up the Mega Charizard X, Tapu Fini, Mamoswine, the Z Lucario straight out of Smash 4. Everyone. He also did pick up the sleeping one, Kamala, the Roser of the Raid, this Miss of the Magiesses, the Garvantula, along with the Darkness of the Night, Umbreon, with picking up Z Tornadus, followed by Meloetta, and then the one, the only, Magcargo, the Lava Man himself.
Where did
My
Where
cargo.
did my car go?
Oh wow! What a card we have here.
Lord.
All right, but I'll go ahead and take the lead on this. I am big fan of Megazard X. I don't know if I like it round 1 necessarily, because Zard X is one of those mons where you can get it round 1 or round 2, and then otherwise you can get it like pretty late in the draft. Like there's really no in between. I found with Zard, so I feel like he could have waited on it until round 2 and gotten something.
Talk about waiting on a mon.
Something like, I don't know. Something that still hasn't been drafted yet is a Celesteela. So at pick 9, I think I would have taken Celesteela and then gotten Zard X round 2. But it is what it is. He got Zard X round 1. Tapu Fini is an interesting core with Zard. I mean, obviously it lessens the dragon moves against it, but also lessens Zard's dragon moves against other Pokemon. So that's something to watch out for. Mamoswine, I've always wanted to try it out. It seems like a fantastic breaker. Big fan of Lucario. Kamala gets shit on. I agree that it definitely should not have been round 5. He probably could have waited on it. He probably could have picked Macargo before he could have picked Kamala. Roserade, Wood Spiker and T-Spiker. Mismagius. Honestly, I would have thought about making Mismagius a Z-Mon just because of Z-Memento. He's got Sticky Web on Gal. I'm a big fan of Umbreon as well. I know it can be setup fodder against a lot of special Pokemon, but it's a solid Wish Passer. Z-Torn is great. Meloetta has its matchups for sure, and then Macargo is...
Where did
Macargo? What do you say about this team, Adam, besides the Macargo?
Macargo's an Unmon. So, excluding that, his Stealth Rocker consists of only Mamoswine, which is horrible. His speed is quite bad. I'll say this, I think he has really good Z options. And I do think Umbreon and Fini are a pretty solid core. Though, on the flip side, I don't think Fini and Zard's that great, because Dragon Stab's nerfed, and Charizard would probably rather run... Charizard likes to run Dual Stab a lot, and you're already hindering half of the stab. So there is that. And yeah, that's my take.
Oh my lord. Okay, no. Okay, so first of all, Macargo is not an Unmon. It's a very good Pokemon, I want to say. Shell Smash Macargo for life.
Ooh,
20 speed. I don't care. It's called Trick Room, baby. Which he doesn't have the option of doing, but he does have webs, which is...
I think Miss Maggie's gets Trick Room.
I think Meloetta does, but let's be honest.
They don't want to.
Yeah. They honestly don't really want to run it. But I do want to say that the Zard plus the Fini combination is actually pretty good. I actually like it. Not for the Dragon Stab, but at least Zard, because what's the best way of stopping a D-Dancing Zard? T-Wave, correct?
Yes.
Toxic, correct?
Or like Clefable.
I mean, that too, but I mean, if you don't have a good fairy, which some drafts might not have one, or maybe you just don't feel like bringing it, if you're crazy if you don't, but the lovely fairy terrain will help out the Zard because it won't be able to get status, which is very good. Also, the rocker problem, I honestly really don't think that this team really cares about hazard stacking, because of the natural bulk you have in all the mons for the most part. Also, you do have things called the Prankster Defog, which gets rid of the hazards. First things first, you also have Spin, which is really good too. And then if you really want to care about hazards, then yeah. But he has a good enough hazard removal. I would say he'd be okay. But I think we have to go to Aussie to see those Kangaskhangs.
Where did
the Kangaskhank? Oh, Macagur? I don't know. Let's
Macagur?
Macagur? Where did Macargo go? Where did that go?
All right,
well,
boys,
let's talk about the man
track
with the excellent name, where he coaches, which is going to be the Aussie lovely Kangaskhangs. He drafted the Latios, Clefable, Megaskizzer, the Nido, who don't need no queen. You have the lovely Volcania, Des Aduai, along with Raikou, Swallow, and Ming Xiao. Oh, and did I forget about that Sneasel? Kachu. Alright. Overall, I guess I'll go go over this team because I said it pretty poorly. Overall, I do love the Fire, Water, Grass core with the lovely Decidueye and Volcanion. Decidueye. Overall, I think it's pretty good. Clefable on this team, pretty decent. I don't know excellent name as a Clefable user, so I don't know yet. But also the Fire. I'm sorry, not the Fire. The Dragon Fairy Steel is the OG. This is bread and butter Dragon Fairy Steel. Latios with the Z move makes it so good. Like, bon appetit. You also have Skizzer for the priority for the bulk. And then last but not least, you have Clefable, which chews up everything, which helps out this team immaculately. Like the Swallow pick and the Sneasel pick. Sneasel being Z is kind of I mean, I really don't see Sneasel running Z a lot.
He had no other option, though.
But he had no other option if he wanted to run Z Latios, which I understand. So, yeah. Overall, I like the team. It's kind of fast. It's kind of bulky. And he has two great hazard setters, being Queen and Clefable. And he has four great removers, being Latios, Skizzer, Decidueye, and last but not least, the Swallow. What do you think about it, Trev?
Well, it's definitely one of the fastest teams we've seen so far, because a lot of teams, or at least a couple of teams I've definitely seen have, they've had one really fast Mon, but then they kind of drop off quite a bit. But this team, you've got Swallow at base 125, you've got Sneasel and Raikou at base 115, Latios at base 110, and then you've got Mean Xiao at base 105. And then, even his defensive options aren't like the slowest in the world. Like, I mean, Decidueye, which can mostly be offensive as well, is base 70, Volcanion base 70. I think Nidoqueen's base 76, Clef is like base 60, and Mega Scizor is like base 75. So it's really overall a pretty fast team. It's got a good mixture of bulk and got good priority. It's got a dark type. It's got a good pursuit, trapper, good knockoff. But my one problem with this is that Volcanion is the water type. So I feel like if Volcanion is your fire type, that's okay. If Volcanion is your fire type and your water type, that's pretty bad, because Volcanion as a water type kind of is bad in the first place, but Volcanion as the only water type is what is the one thing I really don't like about this team, honestly. If it had another bulky water, even if it was like a 2 or 3 point bulky water, like he turned Mean Xiao into like a 7-point fighting type and then got like a decent bulky water from the 3 or 4 point tier, then I definitely think I would have liked this team a little bit better, especially since then it also would have had 11 Mons instead of 10. But overall, I still think this is a solid team, one of the best so far we've seen. And and Adam's wrestling. Do you have anything to say, Adam's chip bag?
Sorry. I do agree with the Volcanion statement. It's a really fast team, and I like it. That's all I really got to say. So we'll move on.
Yep. Thank you for Adam's chip bag for letting us know about that. All right. So next we have Diet Tight and the new Britain Rockruff. So go ahead and take it away, Carney.
All right. So I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but the first Mon he picked up is going to be Stellistilia, followed by the Victory Victini, Mega Venusaur, Hoopa Unbound, the Best Bee, Ribombee, Kiram Tracheon, followed by Blastoise, Adams Wrestling being Zebstrika, also the Mudspell, and last but not least, the one that brings you into your sleep, Dusknoir. Overall, this is a very bulky team. It looks very cool. Also, I love the Zebstrika pick. I'm super happy that someone has drafted Zebstrika. And yeah, it's nice, it's fat, it has a fire, water, grass core. Personally, as a person that's used Victini in the past, I'm not a big fan of Victini. I
Adrian
personally
would be disappointed in you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not a big fan of Victini. But I believe that as a fire type mon is very good if you're just using it for your fire typing. It's like V-Crate spam OP. Also, having Victini with webs is you're making a nice pot of good gumbo. And then we're starting up the microwave. Along with that, you have webs plus Straction, which is pretty good. Your hazard removal is, I believe, it's just, is just Blastoise, unless I'm wrong.
Rabambi gets defog.
Okay, Rubambi does get the defog. Okay, well, that's your only two hazard removals, so you're kind of iffy on that, as one of them is weak to rock and spikes, and the other one is spinner that doesn't have reliable recovery, so it's kind of like but overall I think it's a decent team. Celesteela plus Victini plus Mega Venusaur is pretty fat.
Dude, can we talk about how late in the round he got?
What was that, Adam? You cut out. What was that?
Oh, can we talk about this? Is like the 11th round?
Yeah, and he got Selly. I think that's crazy.
Okay.
I personally think.
I think Celesteela and Venus was really good, by the way. And you're welcome, Carney. I told him to draft the stupid zebra because it's a cool horse. He's got He's got 3 horses, bro. It's a really good. I like his team a lot. It's a little rock weak, but what can you do?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, pick 11 Celesteela. That's pretty much a steal. Even more of a steal than Celesteela is already a steal type. And then we've got Victini round 2. I don't think Victini is a bad round 2 pick. Like, if it was a round 1 pick, like he was actually thinking about originally taking Victini round 1, but you can't exactly turn up a pick 11, Celesteela. So, and then Mega Venu and Celesteela is quite the unbreakable core. Very, very annoying. His opponents are definitely not going to have a fun time this season, especially if he brings like something like a fat Kyurem. Definitely not going to have a good time. I do like the breakers he has. We've got Hoopa Unbound, which round 4 is a good pick, a good spot for Hoopa, especially at 14 points. And then we've got Z Tarak as well. So I do like his breakers, and then he's even got the option of webs with Rabambi, who I feel is probably the best webber in the format because it just does so much. Yeah, it does so much outside of just webbing. It can sweep with Quiver Dance. It can be a threat with Life Orb or Specs, and then obviously it's got the web. So I would say
good
that
timing too.
Yeah, I would say that Rabambi is like pretty, like, again, best webber in the format. So overall, I don't know if I'd say this is my favorite team so far, just because mainly I'm having trouble remembering everybody's team that we've gone through so far. But I would say that it's up there for sure. So, but
I don't pick favorites, but I do want to say that he only has like one true sweeper. I mean, which would be like the speedy Rabambi and Zebstrika. But everybody's sleeping on Dusknoir. Dusknoir is like the best.
To be fair, you can set up an Atomize with Celesteela, Flame Charge, Victini, Rock Polish Terrakions. So even then, I do like his speed tiers overall. I think, like, I mean, he's got base 124 Rabambi, base 116 Zebstrika, base 108 Tarak. So he doesn't have, like, incredibly fast, like, base 130, 125 Pokemon or above, but he basically has...
I also drafted his team for him, so,
well.
Oh, yeah.
There's that's biased as hell.
But let's go ahead and move on to our good pal Scrappy.
We're gonna go down to Texas.
Yeah, we're going down to Texas.
Woo! We're going down to Texas, where it doesn't rain a lot, but we do have the lovely Texan rain dancers, coached by I'm looking for it right now. Scrappy 10. He opted to pick up the mascot himself, man. If
he'll take the mascot, swerve when I roll up.
Boy, he picks up the Weavile after that. Zap, clap, dose, followed by Kartana.
Oh my god, the Eye of Shaman.
Also, I'm not even
wow.
looking at that. Ooh.
Oh, geez.
Dude,
Andrew, what did you do
that
to
is
that show?
scary. That is scary. He does pick up Yuxi Milk Tank, the mascot. So Gligger, Mega Doom, and the only one in the helmet, Shelmet.
Ooh.
Adam, will you lead us off with this?
Of course, my love. First comment, I wish he picked because there's no way on earth you're running the Gligar. But that aside, Manaphy, Kartana, and Komodo are all exceptional Z users. There's a nice fat core in the Florges and the Yuxi and the other two. Shelmet's the god. Mega Houndoom's pretty cool, and Zapdos is really great. I think all of his mons, like you can even bring Shelmet to a game, are pretty damn good. Not really any big comments. I think Manaphy is a great Z user. I think it's better than anything else on his team, better than the cart for sure. Z Rainance is really good, and Kartana breaks a lot of the fat waters that wall Manaphy, and Zapdos can also break. So like those three really help each other. Weavile, I don't really know if he needed it. I guess it helps break psychics for Kartana, but Kartana can knock off, so he could have maybe gotten like Sneasel and then like adjusted his points a little bit, but that's about it. Also, I wish he had a. I don't like Gligar that much, but it's okay.
Yeah, I personally am not big on round 1 Manaphy. I feel like it's fallen out of favor a lot in Draft League, and especially with myself. I personally am not a big fan of Manaphy. You could probably get it round 2 nowadays, but the fact that he got Zapdos round 3, Kartana round 4, I think kind of makes up for that fact, because I think you can get Zapdos as early as round 2 and Cart as early as like round 3 or round 4. So, and the fact that you put Z-Move on Manaphy also helps, because if you put like Z-Move on Cart or something, or Como, then I don't think round 1 Manaphy would have been worth it at all. But Z-Move, you can at least justify it with Z-Move on Manaphy. But he's definitely got, like, you look at those first 4 Mons, those are just threats. Like, Zapdos is honestly the most underrated offensive threat out of those, just because, like, I mean, you're looking at, Z Manaphy, Life Orb Band Weavile, Scarfed or SD Kartana, but then Zapdos is there to just, honestly, Zapdos is so underrated as an offensive Pokemon. People just kind of just slap on it on as a defogger or defensive Pokemon, but it just has so much versatility. And then I'm a big fan of Como. I know I say I'm a big fan of a lot of Mons, but Como, I've grown to love it. It can run either special or physical super easy. It's bulky enough to run like a weakness policy set. It's got stuff like Autotomize and Dragon Dance. It's also got a really good amount of coverage on both the special and the physical side. And then he's got really solid rockers in Uxie, Miltank, and Gligar. And then also, the Como can run rocks if needed. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about this team, is worrying about what's going to be your rocker from week to week. Definitely gonna never have to worry about which one's gonna have rocks. And then he's even got Shelmet, which is one of the best 1-point spikers you can get, one of the best 1-pointers you can get in general. So what about you, Carney? What do you think about this team?
I mean, okay, so if we're talking about the round 1 pick, I personally feel like Manaphy is only a round.
Oh, did we lose Carney?
The round 1 Manaphy. Yeah, I justify the round 1 Manaphy pick.
Okay.
100%. Do believe the rest of his team though is really solid. I'm a big fan of Komodo, just because of its many setup options that it has. Like, Jesus, man, have you looked at this thing's resume? It gets belly drum,
it gets Stealth Rock. It gets Stealth Rock.
It's crazy. Actually, it gets it because of outer shelling and yada 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 lore. I don't want to complain about it or tell you all about it right now. We'll have that conversation later. But overall, I think this is a really good team. Kartana being grass type in this is so good. It is one Magnifique. I love Kartana as grass type, and personally, I probably would not have picked up Gligger. I probably would have done something like Sand Slash plus another Pokemon. for this team, so you still have their solid ground type, and then you would actually have a rapid spinner.
Yeah, Gligar was just okay.
Gligar is still cool. I think it's still pretty good. Z moves on Gligar though is kind of but I can see it happening. I could see it happening. Come on out. Z Tectonic Rage, unexpected Heatran. I want to see it happen right now.
Oh, true. Even though Earthquake kills, but you know.
No. You gotta kill it 5 times over. Alright.
You gotta kill the sugar.
I will say before we move on real quick that while Speed Pass, all forms of Speed Pass are banned, SD Pass is not. You can pass any other stat as long as there is no speed being passed. So SD Pass into something like Weavile or a Scarf Kartana is pretty terrifying with this team. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, Gligar definitely has its uses on this team. So just want to point that out. So let's go ahead and move on to the next Pokemon. Or next team.
The next team, which we're going to go all the way to the Infernape. I'm not going to try to pronounce the first name there because I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher it. But Inglewood? Angle?
Ingle.
Whatever. We're going to go talk about the King Clyde himself, coach of these Inglewood Infernapes. And he's going to be picking up the Mega Diancie, Zeraora, the lovely Arcanine, followed by Skarmory, Reuniclus, the bulky one, the Cell one, the only one, the Gastrodon, the Zydog, not the Zygod, but the Zydog. He does hit my top when I open up the refrigerator, talking about that Rotom Frost right there. Lurantis being one of the best grass types, I'd say, in the metagame right now. I would say top 7 grass type, along with Porygon Z, which is not going to be the Zmon, but he does pick up Haunter, who haunts you in the dreams with its Z Crystal. Overall, I think it's a solid draft. I mean, what do you think, my good friend Trev?
Well, let me take a look. I mean, one thing to point out is that Reuniclus was drafted round 5 here when it went actually undrafted in majors, which I still find crazy that Reuniclus goes undrafted.
Well, if we wait a couple weeks.
Yeah, it'll. I'm sure Reuniclus will get picked up in majors, but I always find that funny that it went undrafted in majors, but here it goes round 5. But definitely a solid team overall. Zeraora, one of those newer mons that it's still being looked at, still being tested on. It's been out for a good couple months now, but while I don't think it's a round 1 pick myself, getting it as the round 2 Pokemon, I think you could just easily justify it being round 2, especially as a Zmon. So I definitely like the pickup there. Mega Diancie as a round 1 is interesting as well, but I personally think that probably could have waited until round 2 for that. Arcanine round 3 is a little bit of an early reach, in my opinion, but Skarm round 4 is pretty solid. Round 5 Reuniclus is really great, and then, I like the double ground core of, Gastrodon as the defensive ground, and then Zygarde as the more offensive ground. They also do not share any weaknesses, if I'm recalling correctly. Good spinner and Hitmontop. Yep, Bolt Switch and Rotom Frost, and as a Zmon, Rotom Frost is pretty solid. Lurantis is, again, one of the better low-tier grass type in draft format, and as Carney says, he thinks it's a top 7 draft format grass type in general. Then we got Porygon Z, which is always a solid low-tier breaker or middle-tier breaker, and then we got Haunter as the last Zmon. So what do you think about this team, Adam?
It's pretty cash money, bro. It's not bad. I think that, let's see, Mega Diancie is cool. I don't know if he really, does he even have a dragon? Yeah, he does have. Okay, so his Fairy Dragon Steel Core is very okay. I feel like if you're going to pick Mega Diancie, you want maybe more of a prominent Steel type than a prominent Dragon type. Skarmory is more of a flying type with a bunch of resistances, and Zygarde is more of a ground type with Outrage. Alright, so that's a little wonky. I wish he picked up a secondary water type just because Gastrodon on its own isn't that great. But otherwise, it's alright. I don't like Hitmontop that much. Haunter and Rotom are pretty cash money picks, and Zeraora is interesting. And decent Z-move use. I think all of the Z-move uses are pretty good.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, when I look at this team, it's not there's been some teams where it's like, wow, this team jumps out as a threat. This team is just kind of like filled more with, it seems like, middle tier. Like it's got a lot more middle tier threats than some of the other teams, which had a lot of top tier threats. Because when you look at the top tier threats on this team, it's basically just Mega Diancie and Zeraora. But then you've got the middle tier threats of stuff like Reuniclus and, you know, Skarm as a defensive, you know, threat. Always incredibly hard to get past. And then Bandit Zygarde, you can never go wrong with Bandit Thousand Arrows. But what about you, Carney? What do you think?
I mean, like I said, Ori, Maranta's top seven grass types.
Alright.
Just because a lot of people have it as discount superior when it's more than that. It is.
Oh, it's way different.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's more of a defensive check to your Zygods, and it does have the physical aspect. And if you ever ran Z Solar Blade, yeah,
Oof.
you know the damage
Which it
that
cannot,
can do.
unfortunately, run. So we will not see that, at least as of right now, unless he makes any transactions.
Yeah, I'm saying in general, like it can break harder than a Regirock. But there is one thing that I'm surprised that he was able to get, and that was Skarmory round 4. Like I personally think Skarmory is a kind of like a round 3 mon.
Yeah.
Round 1 or 2, 3, just because a lot of people are looking for bulk around those areas and reliable rockers and spikers, which Skarmory is one. So overall, I think he got a really good steal with the steel type Skarmory. I disagree with your statement on having Gastrodon being like the bad, only being the only bulky water. I personally believe Gastrodon by itself being a bulky water is really good. Because it does get the option of recovery. Now, if it was per se a Blastoise by itself, I could see that. But, I mean, barring that though, I do feel like Gastrodon being the solo bulky water is really good. And I do like how he, as Trev said earlier, how he has kind of a dual typing type deal. So like with the grounds, you have a bulky ground and you have a offensive ground, and then along with electrics, where you have more of a bulkier electric being the Rotom Frost, and you have more of the sweeping one being the Zeraora. Now, Rotom Frost is more going to hit on the special side, meanwhile Zeraora fits on the physical side, so you always have that electric threat being around with this team. But we have been seeing a trend of Evil-Eyed Mons being Z-Mon, and I'm wondering what's going down in miners right now, because they're like, yeah, let's just all our Evil-Eyed Mons, let's make them Z. Let's make it happen.
Which, granted, you know, when
Monster's
you have like high tier Z-Mons, you're probably never going to see like these 1 to 4, 1 to 5 point Z-Mons. But it is interesting that, you know, I mean, here's the thing: you might as well just strap on a Z crystal if you have the points, because it's not like taking away. It's not costing you a transaction. It's like drafting like a 1 point mon when you have 1 point left. It's like there's no harm in putting it there. There's no harm in drafting that Pokemon because it doesn't cost you a transaction to take it back. It only would cost if you were like legitimately switching your Z crystal. So personally, I see that it's fine to see all these low tier Z crystals, even though we'll probably see like maybe 2 of them at most, because especially on this team, some like Z Zeraora or even Z Rotom Frost, like Z Rotom Frost is pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, I can see that, but like when you also have another mon that will predominantly run Evilite, or as Adam stated, this one Haunter's not Evilite mon, which is true for the most part. It will be a Scarfer, or it might run Specs if that man is ballsy. But I still feel like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you could put those Z points on Lurantis, and I would have been 100% down. Team.
I guess that's right. But then you wouldn't have Zad Z Rotom, but Z Lurantis over Z Rotom, that's something you could definitely argue. But
Let us take a gander at Baby Eric's God Squad.
yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our good pal Baby Eric of the Baltimore Orioles. And Carney, go ahead and take it away with the fantastic mons.
He picked it up with the lovely Landshark himself, Garchomp, followed by Mega Gallade, which is the one of the best fighting types in the game, NA. He also dropped his keys and picked them up. So
Starmie is huge.
Danza for the win just got drafted too, followed by Starmie, one of the best premier spinners, I would say. It's the fastest one actually of all of them, I believe so. You also picked up Toad, the seismic of them all. Talonflame is here, which is fat and fast. Gorgeist, the spooky pumpkin, throughout all you see. Bisharp, the one, the only, the sharp to me. You do also have the last Lycanroc form finally being drafted. Man, Turbo would be proud of you. You bring the mascot, or Choreo, and last but not least, the pink fat Bob herself. Chauncey.
So what do you think about this team, Carney? I'll let you lead off with this one.
I like it a lot. The Dragon Fairy Steel Core being Garchomp and Klefki, Mega Rise Klefki, I think it's pretty cool. I love the love that he's giving to multiform mons such as Gorgeist and the Oricorios. Maybe the only problem I have is having Danza and Smogberg on the same team. I don't know. I feel like they fit similar roles, except
what is Danza?
That's the
Crobat.
What?
Crobat.
Yeah.
Come on, get with the time.
Come on now. Okay. But he does have, I would say, the best fighting type, or the best mega fighting type. Let's say that. Definitively. Going to be Glade, which is really good in this generation. And overall, I would say it's a pretty good team. He has a ton of spikers. Rockers. He has a decent spiker. And overall, I think his removal plus, his hazard control is pretty good. What do you think about it, my good friend Adam Beast Knees?
I think Bisharp's kind of very meh. I think he could have scrapped Bisharp and Chansey and gotten a better Stealth Rocker and like a better Dark type out of those two picks. Otherwise, it's not terrible. He has Bird Spam. Garchomp and Mega Glade are kind of nice. I like the Starmie plus the Toad a lot. I think that Lycanroc, the one he has, is pretty underrated, and I think Oricorio is really good. I drafted it. And Gorgeist is pretty decent, though I prefer Pure Grass. But, regular Gorgeist is decent enough. But again, I think Chansey and Bisharp are kind of unmons in draft, and I think they could have... Bisharp's okay, but I think they could have made better use. That's about it.
I mean, okay. I mean, this man has picked up so many birds. It's crazy. Like, call him Bird Keeper Toby. I think that's the
you got it right. Name. There we go. Congrats, Connie, on the reference.
Yes, finally. Call him Bird Keeper Toby, but he needs to calm down with the birds. I mean, I kind of disagree with the Gorgeist being like the bad for being grass, just because of its multiform technique. Call it Naruto. Because you have your smaller form. Good.
I meant to clear. I don't like it being weak to knockoff and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, I'll keep my mouth shut on that because I kind of agree with you on that. So, I hate it that it's weak to knock off too.
Well, I will say that 3 flying types, with the 3 flying types, there is flying spam, and flying spam is honestly pretty fun. It was a thing mainly back, I think, during OROS. I think it might have been a little bit during Gen 7 as well, but pretty much when Talonflame kind of died, then that's when Bird Spam went. But still, it's cool to have fast flying types because, flying is just kind of a hard type to switch into, especially when you've got such a reliable spinner in Starmie. And you've got, honestly, Crobat, even though it is weak to rocks, is one of the best defoggers there is just because of its bulk and its speed. Oricorio is I wouldn't consider that too much of a part of the flying spam core, but I personally think that it has its uses. And you would think that only the ghost flying one for having like a really good set of stabs would be used, but I have seen both the psychic one and the electric one single-handedly win games before, so just look out for that potential. And then Bisharp, I know Adam, my good pal, he hates on all the mons I like. He hates on Toxapex. He hates on Bisharp. I was kind of a Bisharp non-believer myself until I used it, and it just has so much more. It's not just like, oh, Sucker Punch Man games. It has so much more than that. Like, I mean, Rock Polish Bisharp is a very underrated set, and if you don't prepare for it in the right way, it can definitely destroy you, especially if, you know, there's something like webs up, or, you know, you switch it into a defogger. Like, it's a hard bomb overall to prep for, and then it makes a really nice pursuit trapper, and it's a nice lead rocker as well. But that's all I wanted to say on this team. Next up is our good pal Dr. Slacking's team, and I think actually Dr. Slacking is here in the chat, so if Dr. Slacking wants to join the call, he's free to, if he's still around. But I'll let you go ahead and at least name off all the mons, Carney.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do this pretty quickly. So here we go. We're gonna call this the rapping round. Okay, can I get it? Okay, all right.
I can't beat.
Okay, sure. All right, so you got the Pure Power Mega Meta Champ, got the Tornadoes. I can't do it right now. Okay, whatever. You got Pure Power Mega Meta Champ, followed by the Tornadoes. Call that Landorus. Don't even care because kind of anonymous. Got the T-Tar Excadrill. This is so creepy, but it's got Regenerate Core and the Mungus, followed by the Slowbro. Volcanion is one of Volcarona is one of the best quiver dancers in the game, followed by Zavali. All that multi-type, man. Followed by Aromatisse, Archeops, and big man Afrocentru himself, Wuvalant. Alright, I have to go for a second, so I'll see you soon.
Alright, this team. Dr. Slacking's team is great. That's all one has to say. It's fantastic. Very, very well.
And we're actually about to get Dr. Slacking in here, so.
Well, it's fucking great. Oh, actually, pause before he gets in here, or he can get in here. It's great until Z-Mons. So I want to lecture him on Z, because he picked the worst Z choices I have ever seen someone pick when they have this good of a team. Dr. Slacking, you should be ashamed of your Z-Mons, but your whole team's great. I just hate that you picked those Z-Mons. But it's a great team.
What do you have to say to that absolute anger from our good pal Adam? What do you say? I don't think there's any of this. Wait a second, hold on, let me. Oh wait, we're having connection. I think he's been absolutely destroyed. So no, but Dr. Slacking's having some mic troubles. So
he's even T-Tar, Volcarona, Archeops. He is like fabulous. He didn't pick any of them. He picked fucking Excadrill, which is gonna run Life, and Aromatisse.
Well, it's good to see that Adam is pretty passionate about this topic, but I will say, like,
his team's good though. Like,
the Z move choices are pretty weird. Mega Medi round 1 is pretty weird. Mega Medi is a huge threat, but round 1 you probably could have gotten something else. But he still ended up getting Torn T, which is arguably a round 1 pick in some drafts. Then he got Sand Core round 3 and round 4, which sometimes you have to go for that, like round 1, 2, or round 2, 3. And then he got a fantastic regen core, including the Torn with the Torn, the Amoongus, and the Slowbro. So honestly, this looks like the type of team I would love, and I would probably say that this is my favorite team, just because it's pretty safe. This is my favorite
team. The Z-Mons.
Okay. If we got to redo the Z choices, I would say this is my favorite. If
we got to redo the Z-Mons, I think it would almost be a perfect team.
Yeah.
And Dr. Slacking, you have transactions to make, bro. Think about it.
Yes, Adam implores you to please change your Z-Mons, but I still think, at least for Z Aromatisse, I don't think Z Aromatisse is bad. I don't like Z.
Yeah, Volcarona.
Like you could have made like Z Volc and Z Aromatisse. So, yeah, I don't mind the second one. It's just I do kind of agree with Adam with the first one. That while Z Drill can break some checks and counters that it didn't have before, I think something like a Life Orb or a Berry or even a Scarf without Sand would probably be better. But overall, again, favorite team, I think, just with the regen, the offensive capabilities. It's got good speed, not the greatest speed we've seen, but it's got good speed, and then it does have Trick Room to use with Slowbro, potentially, and Aromatisse. So,
25 or 20, by the way. 25 or 20 Z points.
25.
It was 25.
He could get Buffalon, Archeops, and Tornadus Revolt. Ugh.
Yeah.
I know.
But you know what?
Crazy.
It's okay. It's okay, Adam. The bad man's draft is about to go away right now as we hop into our last pick, which is D-Train in the St. Louis Bulu. So, Carney, since you kind of had to go for that last one, I'll let you lead off. Lead off with the Mons and lead off with your analysis of this.
Oh yes. Well, first things first. I do want to say love D-Train. He was a Celestealer, but then he went into the right way and started talking about a grass type, talking about them Bulus, and he does pick up Zygarde, followed by the Mega Mawile to Mouse himself, Chatty Bird, followed by the Alolan Ninetales, Necrozma, the Kofagrigus, as Elf, the one of Willpower, Drapion, the only trapping Pokemon, the lovely Aerodactyl, Vigavolt, finally a good grass type, just kidding, but Breloom, the best grass type, Politoed with the Z move, and last but not least, Big Tuss Walrein. Overall, I love this team. I love pairing Necrozma with Zygarde. I think it is great. He does have a thing called No Rain Abusers, but Politoed without Rain, I still believe is still a great Pokemon, because you do have the Perish Trap set with the Whirlpool and the Perish Song.
I mean, he can still run Rain, but...
I mean, he can still run Rain for, like, maybe Vigavolt to never miss a Thunder. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then you always have Vel. Vel is a very good... it's a very good...
When you have a fat Mawile and his...
Oh yeah, Vel is like the best, man. It's like putting, basically, it's like putting sour cream on your baked potato. It is just great.
I would personally find that really bad. So I mean,
you don't like sour cream?
I'm a pretty big hater of sour cream myself. So
wait, Trev, leave this call. You cannot be associated with
unless it's sour cream and onion chips. Then like the Lay's sour cream and onion.
I can respect that. I can respect that. He does have a little bit of a stealth rock. Like, where's your rocker at? It's going to be either Aerodactyl or Azelf, and that's kind of
cough. Or Mawile, technically, but
no. I mean, I guess Necrozma.
Actually, he does have. I will say he has 4 rockers, and Necrozma's pretty reliable. Azelf's a good lead one.
Yeah.
Aerodactyl is one of the fastest rockers there are, and you know, I'd say Rock Splice, he's pretty settled.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really get the Azelf plus Necrozma.
One's a bulky. What I say about that is one's a bulky psychic, which a lot of teams are now drafting bulky psychics. That's becoming a nice little niche, especially for things like Mega Lopunny and stuff like that. And one's more of an offensive psychic with the psychic role we all know. You know, going through, destroying things, claiming souls, Mega Alakazam.
Yeah.
So I can see why dual psychic is a thing. As I think I drafted dual psychic too. No, I drafted dual electric. That's a different story. But overall, I think it's a really good team. I love T-Spike with Drapion. I think Drapion kind of like melts his team into a nice bowl.
Drapion's so good.
Yeah, it's just so good. And I think Walrein is the one mon that everyone's going to be sleeping on, and Walrein's going to...
What's its ability? It has thick fat. Does it have a rain ability?
No, it has
Oblivious.
I mean, I wish he got Golduck, right? 'Cause he's ice type already.
Well, I mean, okay, so the difference between Golduck and Walrein is that Walrein actually has Super Fang and stuff like that, so it can half your opponent's HP, and it can be more used as a utility mon than what Golduck is, because Golduck is more of an offensive sweeper.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
But he has 2 fat waters, you know. I just thought, fat and an off. Well, especially to make use of the rain.
I mean, I kind of like Walrein as its bulk. It's really good. So, its bulk, and then it being one of the it's technically the fastest ice water type that I can think of right now at the moment. I don't know
Cloyster?
how fast is Cloyster?
70.
70.
Never mind. It's the second fastest then, being 65. But it brings a lot of utility, and it also gets a belly drum set, so you better watch out for that.
Yeah, but what I would say about this team is, like, this team was in contention with Dr. Slacking's team personally for me for the best, at least my favorite team. You know, you can always make an argument for, you know, how good a team is or how bad a team is depending on your own opinions, but this is probably my second favorite team just because Mega Ball, while I'm not a huge believer in, but getting it at the end of basically round 1, start of round 2 is a solid choice, as well as getting Zygarde at the end of round 1. So that pairing right there, they break so well for each other. That's just crazy. You know, Zygarde breaks all those bulky steals that, you know, Mawile would otherwise have to run like Focus Punch for, and then Mawile just breaks everything for Zygarde. So that's really nice. And then Aurora Veil with Ninetales, as well as the nice speed tier is really great. As well, honestly, it does. Ninetales does get Heal Bell, so you know that's also really great because this team doesn't particularly like status because of all the bulk and all the power. So getting rid of those burns and those toxics are really nice. And then just all the setup, he did a really good job of drafting. Honestly, around Mega Mall, this is one of the best Mega Mall drafts I've ever seen. He's got Zygarde to break steals. He's got Aurora Veil. He's got really good Trick Room options. He's got double T-Spikers. He's got plenty of other rocks options. He's got plenty of other priority. He's got Tailwind with Arrow. Like, I don't see how this is not one of the greatest Mega Mall drafts out there. Like, he did a fantastic job. If this was the team, if there was a team to draft around Mega Mall, this is pretty much the blueprint for it, in my opinion. So I think he did a really nice job of drafting the team. And also, he says in chat, also the potential for rain to weaken Mega Mall's fire weakness is really nice. But what do you guys say to that before we end off?
I mean, I think we said. Connie?
Good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, before we end off the stream, we would just like to say, first announce the week 1 schedule. So these are some of the matchups you'll get to look forward to for this week. So let me just pull up the schedule if I can. There we go. So for week 1, we first have the Indiana Hyperspacers, coached by our good pal Mega Oshawott. It's been a long time since we mentioned him, against the Inglewood Infernapes, coached by King Clyde. Second up, we have the Columbus Basculin Blue Stripe, whatever their names are, coached by Andrew Muse the Best. I know he's gonna bitch at me for not saying his full name correctly, but it's a really long name. And Andrew will be playing the New York Muse, coached by Bash. Next up, we have D-Train and his St. Louis Bulus are taking on the Bovines, I hope I said that right, coached by Dr. Slacking. Next, we have EN, excellent name, and his Aussie Kangaskhan's taking on Pesky Skitty and his Ottawa Garchomp. Next, we have Baby Eric and his Baltimore Oracorials taking on Ultra Player and his West Virginia Miniers, which is also, some of these are rematches of some of the games in the tryout tournament, this is one of them where Eric was the one to beat Ultra Player. Let's see if he can Ultra Player can change that up this time. Next, we have Chew and his Baltimore Bravebirds versus Scrappy 10, the GOAT himself, and his Texas Rain Dance. Next, we have Fralls, or now will, I guess Fralls will be has played as week 1. So we have Fralls and the Melbourne Metagross against Jason, aka Diet Tight, and his New Britain Rockruff. And then finally, we have Ice Demon Gray and his Barcelona Bagons versus BM Badon Mash and his Littenpool. So those are the week 1 matchups. You can look forward to those games next Saturday. So less than a week away, we will have our week 1 games uploaded. So, and hopefully in that time, Miners Coaches will also upload some of the draft analysis. If you happened to, want to look back through some of their opinions. I know we got a couple of opinions on here, but if you want to actually go see their opinions, they'll be uploading their draft analysis this next week. And then also Majors. Well, I know we already announced the Majors week 1 schedule, but they will be uploading next Sunday. So this upcoming Saturday will be minors, and then a week from now will be majors. So we'll have back-to-back days of that. So other than that, do you guys have anything else to say?
Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yep. Subscribe to PewDiePie if you want to, whatever. What about you, Carney?
I do have to say, I want to thank everyone for coming on back out. I do want to say that, you guys are the best. Do hit a follow on this channel if you want to see the next draft stream. Will be in the,
If you want to see Carney
from now.
dances.
Yes. Like I said, do check out all our coaches. They're pretty good people for the most part, I would say. I mean, I don't know about Adam the Bee's Knees. But all our Minior coaches, oh my lord, I've been in the IPA for too long. All our minors coaches are pretty cool guys too. And I do want to say the last thing is we, as a league, are happy to be here today. And if you guys love us, please share the love and do not kill a grass type with a grass type. Grass and grass violence should never happen. That was your PSA today. And I guess, Trev, are we going to end it off?
Yep, I'll just say one last thing, and that is, if I know, again, I think 2 of the sprites were missing, but other than that, the actual graphics themselves were fantastic. Andrew did all of them. Again, follow Muse the Best on Twitter. He's got some pretty cheap prices for his graphics as well, and again, they look awesome. You just got to remind him to put the sprites on next time, but his graphics themselves are awesome. So make sure you go commission him. Again, really great guy. He's really friendly. He interacts with you a lot, so and you're getting a really good graphics for the price. So go check him out. So other than that, I think it's about time we end it off. So
subscribe to me, the Bee's Knees.
Yep, subscribe to Adam or unsubscribe. Either one works. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.